Hi everyone, this is Knitting in Our Jeans and I'm Carolyn, known as CPREDMOR on Ravelry and Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram, and I haven't been posting at all. One, because we've been away and I don't usually post anymore while we're away because it's like a high sign that we're not home. We don't have curtains. We made coverings for all the windows before we left. Um, some of the Richard got some of those springy curtain rods. I think you can get them for $6 a piece. And I took quilt backing and basically hemmed it, made a pocket for the rod to go in, and we have quilt backing all over the windows. So I had made some room darkening covers, for the bedrooms before we left months ago when they took out all the old windows and the shades wouldn't fit. And then we thumbtacked old curtains over some of the windows, but we were still left with living room, dining room, and then kitchen, some of the office that had no window coverings, and we were going to be gone for 2 weeks. So we quickly cobbled together something over the windows. But we haven't finished painting the surrounds of the windows. Maybe we'll get to that this week. The unfortunate thing is that it's much colder now. And because of my propensity to spike a headache whenever we have paint in the house, Rich is somewhat hesitating to do the painting. So that's just going to delay it further. And we can't get new curtains until the people can come in and measure and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, and we don't need new curtains up, or we don't want new curtains up until the painting's done, because then it's just going to get messed up when he does do the painting. First world problems. Definitely first world problems. I got to church this morning, picked up my wreath, which of course is still in the car. So I'm going to have to get that after I'm done here. We went to Arizona for Thanksgiving. And it was a really great idea. I've been set free from physical therapy because of all the progress I made over the 2 weeks of Thanksgiving. So first we went to Tucson for 10 days. And it was nice. It was warm. The hotel we stayed at had trails around it that were easy. I actually didn't get on the trail that I thought I was going to get on, but that's okay. There's always the next time. But we had a little problem in that they ended up doing construction on the 2 columns of accessible rooms that they had. So we said we have to leave. This is not good. And so we left and we went to the Grand Canyon for 2 nights. And that was fun. I'd never been to the Grand Canyon. So we did a little walking there because they had paved trails. The unpaved trails were too close to the edge for someone like me who's afraid of heights. It just wasn't going to go. And then we spent 2 nights in Sedona. Richard's so funny. He says, the answer to any question is Sedona. It's definitely Sedona. It's warmish. There is some topography in that it's not all flat. Like a lot of Tucson is flat. There's some trees, there's some cactus, there's more variety, and there's tons of trails, absolutely tons of trails. So we got walking there, a little bit more difficult than it had been to date, so that was good. And then caught a plane back. He did splurge and buy me first class seats, so I had room for my leg to extend, which was lovely, absolutely lovely. And that has led to my going to physical therapy on the day after we got back, which was Thursday, and being, patted on the head saying, you're good to go. So I'm going to keep working on my range of motion. Today we went down to Jones Beach after church, walked 1.5 miles, so that was good. So that was really great. I was so impressed by the Grand Canyon. It was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And then, of course, when you're down in Sedona, you are seeing the reverse, in that you're down in the canyon and the mesas that are left have some of the color that's in the Grand Canyon. Not as much, to be honest. A lot of it is red rock. And then on top of that is white rock, which is chalk. But we had a really good time. We didn't go off-road. We did have a Jeep, but in 2 days we really couldn't identify the trails that we wanted to go to that would have had off-road parking. And that's really why we got the Jeep, was to be able to do the parking further in that many cars don't have the clearance for. So that went really well. The unfortunate thing was the car that we had rented, or the Jeep that we had rented, developed a crack in the windshield the night before we were to turn it in. So we told Hertz about it. I filed a claim with the credit card company. I think I'm waiting for information from Hertz to forward on to the credit card company. And I'm sure we'll get that taken care of. Just very weird. You know, Hertz wants to know, what was the event? I have no idea what the event was. I have no idea. It wasn't there until we got back from dinner, and it was there. So we were as surprised as they are, but it definitely happened under our watch, so we're responsible for it. So we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, we have made reservations for our next vacation, which is in February. And we will continue walking and continue stretching these legs so that the knee continues to have good range of motion, which is, I think, really important. So while we were gone, I played some video games while I was resting and icing my knee after having gone out on the trails. The hotel we stayed at in Tucson had a lazy river pool. I loved it. I just loved it. So I managed to have the right bathing suits at the right time, and the weather was great. We just had a really good time, and we had Thanksgiving dinner there. And we were staying at the JW Marriott, and I have to give them a shout out because I have food allergies, and our breakfast waitress harassed the chefs so much that by the time Thanksgiving evening came and I showed up, they said, "Oh, let us show you what doesn't have any dairy in it." And they went, every piece of food that was there, they showed it to me and discussed whether or not I could eat it, which meant that I had a really enjoyable Thanksgiving, and nothing I ate came back to haunt me in the way of a migraine or an upset stomach or anything. And it was fabulous. The care they took of me and my food allergies was amazing. Absolutely amazing. It doesn't happen at all other hotels. It certainly didn't happen at the restaurant in the hotel that we were at the Grand Canyon. The waiter there couldn't have cared less. And we had the opportunity to stay another night there, and we said, we really don't need it. Thank you very much. I think if we go back, we want to stay in the park. I think there's 4 hotels. They were all booked up, of course. But I think should we plan ahead, I think that would be really the best, because then you could get up, have breakfast, wander around trying to get yourself together, and then go off on the trails. We did the yellow bus and trails there, and first day and the second day we did the red bus, and it was the last day of the red bus. So we had some of the best bus drivers. We met one gentleman who had retired to Arizona from upstate New York, and I'm downstate New York, and he drove a truck for, he said, 45 years, and so he has an RV with his wife, and she wanted to hike rim to rim, which is where you hike down and then up again. And in order to get a permit, they had to wait and wait and wait. So they had arrived in May, and she got it in October. Meanwhile, the RV park was very near where the bus park, and then he was chatting up the bus drivers, and they said, "Well, why don't you drive a bus? You have a CDL license. Come on and join us." And so for the past 8 years, he's been driving a Grand Canyon bus for 9 months out of the year. He said they've asked him to do it all 12 months. He says, but I'm retired. I want to have a bit of a rest. So those 3 months, they go down to Florida and with their RV and stay near their children and their grandchildren. And he was remarking on how much more expensive it was in Florida than in and around the Grand Canyon, even in season. But he loves it. He was just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So there was a lot of walking, a lot of resting, a lot of video games, and then some knitting. So I have finished one sock. You can see where my afterthought heel is going to go. But there's sock 1, and this is Asylum fiber. This part is Wonderland. This part is Twwedledum, and it came as a set. So this would be the body of the sock, and this would be the cuff. I'm doing the cuffs first and then the heels. So if I have enough left over, I will do the heels out of Twwedledum, or I'll have one heel out of Twwedledum and one heel out of Wonderland. And then, never fear, I have started the second sock. So yes, I have my Grace downstairs, but I'm not starting back on that until I finish this sock. As you know, I need to get some of this stuff out of the house. Or not out of the house, but at least knit it up. So I am knitting through my stockpile of yarn and projects. So by next week, these socks will be done, and I will have started back on Grace. So that'll be aces. Other than that, I'm working on Christmas cards. So have my Christmas tree. That'll go up tonight. I'm working on Christmas cards. I should have 50 of them done by this evening, and hopefully a second 50 by tomorrow. That's my goal, so I can get them out. I need to order 2 more packages to go, food packages to go to friends of mine. I'll do that probably tomorrow. Christmas gifts. Rich and I are giving each other the trip in February as a Christmas gift. I did buy some silk pajamas that were on half price special that the New York Times had written about. He really likes them. I like them too. They're warm. So he says, I really like these. So I said, okay. And I ordered another pair. But I wouldn't call that a Christmas present. That's just stocking up. We got home. My electric toothbrush decided not to recharge again. It's years old. Not, so it did yeoman service. And then I ordered a new one, and that arrived today. So Richard's going, we have plenty of regular toothbrushes. I said, yes, but my dental hygienist said I should be using an electric toothbrush, and that's what I'm going to use. Yep, exactly. What else is new and exciting? We're going to be home for Christmas, so we'll be spending it with Elizabeth and Ben. She's not here today. They have been invited to, I guess, the beginning of holiday parties. So they're at a holiday party this evening and will not be able to come over. I did see her at church today. We have a new organist, relatively new organist at church, Warren. I don't know his last name, but he has come on while I was working on getting my knee repaired, so I had not met him. Lovely gentleman, really plays well. Makes me wish I could be in the choir again, but certainly encouraging me to be at church every week to listen to Warren play that organ. So that's exciting. What else is going on? I think that's about it. It was nice to get back here and drive my own car again. The car we rented in Arizona was gas only because it's really difficult to find charging stations I find it difficult to find charging stations at hotels. And because usually they're already booked or something. So it is nice to be running my daily errands on electricity because my car will go 48 to 55 miles, 48 in the winter, 55, 58 in the summer, fully charged. So I've been able to do that. It just makes me feel better about the environment. And other than that, what am I wearing today? I am wearing a breathing space. And I got quite the compliment on it today at church. So I really do like the breathing space sweaters. So maybe I'll make another couple out of the yarn that I have. We'll have to wait and see. So next week I'll show you finished socks and hopefully work that I've done on the Grace. I have to decide whether I want to continue with the body on the Grace or whether I want to start the sleeves, because I have done the sleeve separation. I'm thinking I want to do the sleeves, get that behind me. Don't want to be stuck on a sleeve island. No way. And that is it. So hopefully I'll see you next week, barring any kind of major upheaval around here. Working through this yarn, it'll be nice to get some of the stuff off the table. I had gone through some of the, I had a project bag downstairs stuffed full of wool. So I had a sweater quantity of this alpaca. What I wanted to do without this alpaca, I have no idea. I'm going to have to look up another pattern for it. So anyway, the plan is to get Christmas cards done, get all ordering done. Elizabeth and Ben are taken care of. Elizabeth's going to take care of the wee ones because we generally go in together for the Christmas gifts. And I think we're in good shape. I really do. So anyway, weave in your ends. I'll be weaving in ends when I finish my I do have ends to weave in. So I'll be doing that this week. And hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye.